So with Shaman King coming to a close, literally tomorrow it's going to be gone from global, and you probably won't see it again until about another 4 or 5 months. I'm almost positive they're going to rerun this crossover because it was extremely hype, and more than likely whenever they come back, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure we're probably going to get luck units of all of them. So I wanted to make a video talking about who I think are the best units from Shaman King. I kind of wanted to wait till all the hype died down. Everybody got done talking about them. What's said is said, what's done is done, you know, that whole ordeal. And the thing that I wanted to do is rate these from worst to best. Even though I feel like a lot of people already know like who is the best unit from Shaman King, but some people may actually not know, and some people may disagree with me, and some people may not. Of course, let me just say this is my list, and this was something that I just thought of and thought it would be pretty cool to do. So don't just take this as like, oh my god, I didn't get this unit, so I'm trash or whatever. Like, to be honest, there's not a single unit in Shaman King is necessarily required. Wouldn't actually look at Shaman King and be like, oh, there's a unit from this that you absolutely must have, right? Like, in my head, the must-have units in the game is stuff like Sistina, Haruto, Vox, Juno, Mako, Serpa, Berwick, Thetis, Lisa, like, you know, the list goes on and on and on. So, with all out of the way, let's now get into my thoughts. So first and foremost, let's talk about the units that came out with this crossover. We got, of course, Anna. We got Tao Ren, Yo. The biggest one for a lot of people was Hao. Now, with all these units, I want to say each of them brought something very unique to the game. For Mono Earth, we wound up getting something that we didn't already have necessarily, which was Anna. She actually brought us a 100% defense ignore unit. She also has tons of damage up passively, and she's able to work with a lot of the units in the game that are pretty top tier. Some people say that she's very bad, but to be honest, I actually think she's probably the most underrated unit from the entire crossover. I think she offers a lot to the team with art gauge, with damage ups, with defense ignores. Her slots could be better. If her slots were actually any better, it would be amazing for her. I think overall, still a really solid unit. Not bad at all, I wouldn't say. Next, let's talk about the boy Yo, which also came alongside her. Yo, insane unit for any mono fire team, right? Not only just in mono fire, but also just in any composition that is a physical damage comp. I think he's type E, if I'm not mistaken, so he works with a lot of the arch tuners in the game. And overall, I don't think Yo is a bad unit at all. And also, he hits pretty hard. I don't know if anybody has really been using Yo like that, but I'm telling you, the man hits hard. Like, his modifiers are nothing to play with. And then, of course, the other two, Tao Ren and Hao, the nuking banner, I want to say. Tao Ren is a really good unit as well. I think that he allows for a lot of stuff to be cleared that you probably wouldn't be able to clear by yourself if you didn't have like the right floor clearing equips and everything, or you just didn't want to use floor clearing equips. Just because every stage that he goes into, he instantly gains 100 arts, and even though his art animation is kind of short range, but for the most part, he's able to take out a lot of the crash mobs you're going to be getting in some stages, just because the damage he's dealing is pretty high. Also, if you're using Tao Ren on a mono dark nuke setup or whatever setup you want to use him on, he's going to be hitting really freaking hard. And then the final one, Hao. Hao, being the fire nuker that he is, and also fire attacker, what I want to say, what's the term I'm looking for here? I had a lot of back and forth with myself, depending on how I liked Hao and how I liked using him. And I think overall, Hao is a very good unit, very strong unit, but I wouldn't say he's the best in the game, nor would I say he's required, just like every other unit that I'm going to be talking about. He still is really strong, does a lot of damage, and I think he does a little bit more than what I gave him credit for initially. But now the question is, how would I actually rate these guys from least to greatest? And unfortunately, at the very bottom, man, I'm going to be putting Anna. I know that I said that she's kind of underrated, but I think that the reason why I'm rating Anna so low is because we just need some time for Mono Earth. I think that in the future, once Mono Earth gets even more support, I mean, they're already getting a lot of support with Haruto and everybody else, but once we start getting like, you know, Summer Leon, Redeus, that's his name from Java's Reincarnation, stuff like that, all in the game, as well as other, you know, future Earth units coming out, she may have more of a place in the Mono Earth team comp. I don't think she's bad by any means. I think that she's actually extremely good. It's just not the right time for her. After the girl Anna, I'm gonna be putting Tao Ren next, man. Tao Ren, really strong character, but I will say that he's just a nuker. He is actually just an attacker. If you're not going to be really nuking with him, I don't see you really using Tao Ren a lot, just because he doesn't really have too much leeway to kind of be anything else. Everything about him is just like, hey, I want to blow stuff up like crazy. I just want to go in and I just want to instantly hit stuff. And now for the final two units, which People may be surprised at me for not putting the unit that they think that I should be putting at number 1. And some people may have been expecting this list the entire time. And I have some stuff to talk about, mainly with one of them. Not too much the other, but... So coming at the number 2 slot from this crossover, I'm putting in How. I know. People gonna be like, how this, how that, OP, how can do this, how can do that. Listen. How does do a lot more than what I gave him credit for. Originally, I stated that How was just an attacker, which, to be honest, I still somewhat stand by that. But now with me using him and using him in other team comps and everything, I think that he can be used more as like a sub-attacker that is able to help kind of support and buff up magic damage dealers a little bit. Not entirely, but just a little bit, because How has that guaranteed 50% magic resist down, which is insanely strong, especially if you're using Juno on the team with true EX skate. That's going to be a lot of damage pretty much all the time. And also, How is an extremely strong nuker. Is he the best nuker in the game? No. For you to be the best nuker in the game, for one, you gotta deal a lot of damage, and you gotta have fast animations. And somebody does both of those that's currently in the game, and Saitama. So I do think How can do a lot, right? I really do. I don't want to say that How is a bad unit by any means, but I don't think he's as crazy as everyone kind of hypes him up to be. Like, yeah, he's a damage dealer. Yeah, I use him in the mines. I use him a lot, actually, ever since I got him, because I've been having a lot of fun, playing with him and stuff. I will say that he's not required in any way, shape, or form. He's a cool unit. He allows me to kind of use him in place of Sistina to an extent, because the main reason why I use Sistina a lot of the time is just for 20 art gauge and a barrier. I don't really like using Sistina with magic damage dealers just because he's kind of there for no reason. But with How, I'm able to actually use him with magic damage dealers. Granted, I don't have as much survivability, of course, as I would with someone like Sistina, but I'm able to use him with magic damage dealers just because he gives 20 RKH to everybody. Plus, he's also lowering the enemy's magic resist. And, he's a magic damage dealer too. So if he winds up burning as well, he's going to deal, big deeps. I don't think he's just like the be-all end-all. You know what I mean? Now, who I do think is the be-all end-all of this crossover is the motherfucking boy Yo. A lot of people always say that How is better than Yo and all this other stuff, but here's the thing that I always think to myself. I'm a sucker for support units, and Yo is a support unit, and he's a really good support unit at that. Physical damage ups, Archgen, does pretty good damage, can be used as a physical damage buffer on any team, by the way, because he can also give everyone 4 art gauge. The only thing that he does to fire units is just buff up their fire attack by 100%. But if you just want to throw him on a team that's mostly physical damage dealers and also want to Archgener, guess what? You can use the boy Yo on there, and you're going to do absolute work. That is my list from least to greatest. Of course, if you guys have a different opinion, or if you guys think something else, please let me know down below in the comment section. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and this is just what I personally think. I think the only thing that I would maybe change is that I would maybe switch out Taorin and Anna, just because Anna has a little bit more team viability than Taorin. Even with that, I think that I'm still happy with what I said. So yeah, this is my little send-off to Shaman King. When will it return? Who knows? But that's going to be it for this one, man. Thank you all for coming out. It's been your boy Pete. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. Fun little video idea I had, so I wanted to do it. And yeah, it's going to be it for this one. Thank you all again. And last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.